Hello and welcome to the upper deck. I'm Lynn. Right next to me is Sierra, and the title of the show I feel was very appropriate. Simply help. Um, but also fair warning that this show is probably going to go off the rails quickly because I am not mad. I am boiling. And if you don't hear it in my voice, you will soon. Oh, and right on time, Shayna, the ray of sunshine, comes in. Shayna, God bless you and your hearts and your exclamation points. Let's start by saying hi to everybody. Jonathan, first attendee of the day. Gold star for you. Hey, Jason, good to see you. Karen, you know exactly where my head is. FJ and Shayna and Jordan. All right. Yes, and happy heel day. I hope we can say happy something today. Um, so let's start with the trivia question of the week, everybody. Due to several pitching arms acquired this week, Marcus Stroman was released by the Yankees. Stroman wore number 0, the only single-digit number available. Only one other Yankee player wore number 0. Who was it? All right, another goodie from Spencer, and we will be talking about Stroman for sure. So before we get into the present, let's relive the past while we can. All right, so we did good against the Rays. It was the only Florida team that we had some good face on. So, want to break that down for us, Sierra?
Yeah, so after dropping the series to the Phillies, which was brutal, the Yankees went home to play Tampa. They dropped the first game, but they picked up games 2, 3, and 4. Tuesday, Max Fried gave us 6 2/3 innings. I'm sorry. He only gave up 2 earned runs, which was great. It was a nice bounce back performance from him. Dominguez and Volpe both went 2 for 4. Anthony Volpe being the most confusing player on the baseball field to me right now. So Yankees went on to win that game. They went on to win Wednesday's game. Will Warren gave you 6 strong innings. That was the game that went into extras. Bellinger, after Volpe hit a game-tying home run in the 9th, Bellinger gave you a game-tying triple in the 10th, which has never been done before by any Yankee ever. Shout out to Bellinger for that. And then the Yankees went on to win that one off of a McMahon walk-off, and Tim Hill took the win. Thursday, yeah. Stanton and Rice homered, and McMahon went 2 for 3. So offense hasn't looked terrible lately. So, you know, that it's interesting that we're now down 2 games in Miami with how good the offense has been, excluding yesterday, obviously.
And I'm gonna put that slide down for a minute so that first of all, let's savor everything Sierra just said and remember it and hug ourselves a little bit because it's right there in front of us still. Good things can be done by this team. And yet, some of you know my friend Chris Vitale. He's been a friend of the show, both this show and with the guys. And this was his tweet last night to the New York Yankees, right above my head here. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. And I told him that's going to be my background tomorrow. And there it is. First of all, master of alliteration. I mean, there's no end to Chris's talents. But this is the pivot to the rest of the show because so much is wrong and embarrassing from from what happened after we left Tampa and went to Miami, and it has to stop at this. So let's talk about the fact that we made history though in Miami, but not the kind of history we want. So first of all, Miami's 27th comeback win of 25 gave New York a new record, gave the Yankees a new record. And since it's been 80 years since this has happened, everybody, New York had its first road loss with scoring 12 or more runs since 1940. This is the history we're making now? This is it, everybody? No, just so not okay. Um, and so 1940, there was a team playing for St. Louis called the Browns, for crying out loud. So against the St. Louis Browns, everybody remember them? I just it's just unbelievable to me. And welcome to the Yankees, new guys. Aren't you glad you're here? Everybody dreams of being a New York Yankee and putting on those pinstripes, and this is your first go at it. This team, were you already wishing that you were right back where you were, even if you hated it there? Even Caballero, who we watched get traded during the game, this is a whole other thing. I just astounding to me. And so and we got what did he do his first game? He proved he was a Yankee, and they were on him first game. So could have fit right in. And I'll take a breather, Sierra. Go ahead.
Yeah, since we're still in the rear view, let's talk about Friday's game. And I know it's hard because, look, when your offense puts up 12 runs, there's no excuse. You should not lose a game where you put up 12 runs. We hit 3 home runs. So Grisham, who is at his career high home runs right now. You have Volpe, who it looks like Barry Bonds coming out of the All-Star break. And Stanton, who now has 438 career home runs, okay? Dominguez and Volpe both stole 2 bases, and Caballero stole a base. So we had a total of 5 stolen bases in this game. But our defense looked atrocious. There was 2 errors. Volpe could have had an error, but they didn't score it an error. But, he just looks bad in the field right now. And then, Wells had an error because he looks lost both defensively and offensively right now. And then Caballero. Let's talk about Caballero. Why was he even in right field to begin with? I do not give a damn that he robbed Ben Rice of a home run. He has played 24 games. 24 games in right field. He is a shortstop. You have Austin Slater on the bench because why did you trade for outfield depth if you're not going to use it? But you have the guy sitting on the bench who has played 500 plus games in the outfield total with like 182 in right field. So if we're talking defense here, Caballero should have never been put in right field. I understand the pinch run. That was the right decision to make. He didn't have to go in right field. You still had another guy to take off the bench to play defense. That's where they lost me. So, and the fact that the walk-off, it was a dribbler in front of the plate. It wasn't even like a pop fly. It was the most pathetic walk-off I've ever seen in my life. And of course, it came at the hands of Agustin Ramirez, former New York Yankee, who then turned around yesterday where, let's be honest, Schlittler looked fine. He gave up 2 home runs, solo home runs, which don't kill you, both to Agustin Ramirez. But, Schlittler, he still gave you 5 innings, right? He struck out 6 batters. He only gave up 2 runs. And then your bullpen came in for 3 innings, didn't give up a single run, and the offense still couldn't get it done. You put up 12 runs one night, and then the next night you put up 2 hits. 2. That is it. Stanton and Rice.
Not to mention what was this Schlittler's second or third outing as he up in the bigs. And he kept his cool. Like, those 2 home runs, he kept himself steady. And you know what? Maybe that's like a low expectation to have of anybody right now. But you know what? Right now, a low expectation is a high expectation as far as I'm concerned with this team. Nobody should be giving Schlittler crap. Not that I've really seen any of it, but I'm just putting it out there. Nobody better.
But the same goes for Boone on Friday. Or not Boone, Jesus. Give Boone all the crap you want. For Rodon on Friday, right? Rodon, while his stuff wasn't there, the Yankees were up 9-4 when Rodon was pulled. There was no reason to lose that game. I'm sorry, but the bullpen let you down and defense let you down. So let's take a look at the bullpen on Friday night, shall we? So
no. Okay.
Jonathan Loaizaga, who has just been an absolute nightmare since returning. He gave you a third of an inning, 1 hit, 0 earned runs. Now, I will give him a little bit of grace because he came in with, into a sticky situation, but he still hasn't looked the greatest lately. Then we go to Brent Hedrick, who probably had the best outing of everybody. 1 inning pitched, 1 walk, no earned runs. However, we then go to Jake Bird, which, again, let's go back to who was making the decisions here. Jake Bird, who had the longest travel day to get to the New York Yankees on Friday, should not have been in this game, in my opinion. But I don't freaking know anything. Gave you a third of an inning, 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 strike. So then we go to David Bednar, who historically pitches terribly against the Miami Marlins, has over a 5 ERA. But you know what? Let's throw him in there because the bullpen sucks. Bednar gave you 1 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 strikes. So then we go to Duvall, who is typically very fun to watch, typically nasty pitcher who normally throws his cutter 42% of the time. Only threw it once. Only threw it once in this game. So I don't know if Wells is calling the game. I don't know if Boone's calling the game. But you didn't utilize this guy's best pitch. Anyway, Duvall gives you a third of an inning, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 strike, and a blown save. It was a disaster. Horrible. And I do not put it on Rodon. I understand, Frank Rivera, that Rodon didn't look great. However, you're up 9-4. It should never have gotten to 13-12 and Miami walking it off. It just shouldn't have got to that point.
Yep. And hey, Uncle Tat. So, Uncle Tat is saying Bednar now has a 9+ ERA.
He should have never pitched versus Miami. If the Yankees are all about analytics, their analytic department let them down in that moment because Bednar was the worst possible option. I don't care how good he's looked this season, right? Because he's been completely nasty in 2025. His worst games have historically always been against Miami, including this season back in March. He should have never been put into that game.
Nope. And man, speaking of Bednar, are those Pittsburgh Pirate fans salty and mad about us having him now? But you know what? They're probably thinking, okay, maybe it's all right with us. And John the Beagle Dad wants to say, look, I'm just a fan, so I don't know nothing about nothing.
Same.
John, no one's blaming you or yelling at you. We have 26 guys and a manager to yell at, so don't worry, we're good. So lots of people have come in. So just want to make sure that we say hello to Evan. So you come in, Egyptian magician. Where's your magic? Where is it? Can you bring some today? Get out the rabbit, pull it out of the hat. Whatever you got to do, Egyptian. We got Aiden. Good to see you. And we also have Frank, as you mentioned, and Raziel. Oh, so good. We love when you're with us. And John, of course. So, all right. So what did all of that plus what we witnessed on Saturday? Yeah, we did both games. So let me tell you where that brings us, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the first time all season that the Yankees have been behind the Red Sox. The Red Sox, who traded away their star player and are magically playing better now. They got rid of Rafael Devers and improved.
Yeah, and no incredible moves during the deadline. Am I right?
Nothing outstanding.
Yeah. No crickets from the deadline. And look at this. Look at this total embarrassment. I don't even know. I was afraid to look at the team percentage because you know what? I can't believe it's not lower than that. 60-51, but 60,
you know what?
50,
I lied.
What?
They added Dustin May from the Dodgers, who hasn't been that great, but typically when you get a change of scenery, anything can happen. So they did add some starting pitching. I'll give them credit.
So there's that. And the Dodgers, by the way, whoo! Look out for those Padres, everybody. If we're going to be watching any kind of postseason game, it's going to be rooting for the Padres for me. And Raziel, thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate. Look, we appreciate that compliment, but you know what? My great Aunt Fanny would manage better than Boone right now. Although that's kind of not entirely fair. We did see an ounce of accountability yesterday. We did see a certain New York Yankee being brought downstairs into the clubhouse and a coach get reamed on live TV. So there's a little bit of that going on. You see it once a year or so.
Yeah, but let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because we've been asking for accountability, right? With this team. And so at first I really appreciated seeing Boone take Jazz into the dugout, like down the stairs where we can't see it. Because we don't need to see them getting yelled at, but we need to know that the accountability is happening, right? However, then he turns around and Chapman, the first base coach, is getting yelled at where everybody can see it. To me, that's insane. Because while I agree that the coaches should be held accountable, because look, we've been talking about Luis Rojas and his screw-ups since last season, but Jazz Chisholm is a professional baseball player. You are telling me that on a routine fly ball, he doesn't know that he needs to get back to first base? Because he, for some reason, thinks that he has this crystal ball and that they're magically going to drop it because the Yankees play bad defense, right? I really, truly think that's why he thought that. Because he and Volpe play such bad infield defense, he expects everybody else to. That is not on Chapman. That is on Jazz Chisholm.
Totally on Jazz Chisholm. And I have a lot to say about him. So great point, John. Who's going to take Boone in the dugout? Oh, I will. Put me in, coach. I am just the lady to do it, and I'm ready. All right. So
Jordan mentioned that Rojas screwed up again yesterday. Yes, he did. Because on the 2 hits that the Yankees had, 2 hits, let me remind you guys, 2 hits. We could have scored at least once because if they didn't send Grisham on Stanton's single to left field and just left him at third base, the Yankees might have had more opportunity to score. But no, we sent Grisham. He was out by a mile. Like, it wasn't even close. So they just played horribly bad baseball yesterday with 0 fundamentals from top to bottom. The deadline didn't fix anything because the fundamentals aren't fixed.
Right. And if I'm going to give anything any kind of grace, all right, it was when the deadline was just the other day. So, but this has been going on for a long time, and it's been 80 years since they've played a good game, as far as I'm concerned. And Frank, you got that right. You got that so right. And I'm still a Jazz lover, but not today. Not today. And maybe not tomorrow. We'll see how today's game goes. So let's just get into news and views. So on a bright note, hopefully a bright note, Heel is back, everybody. Luis Heel is back and on the hill today. So we're hoping that we're going to see Heel all healed and doing something for the team from his end of things. So go ahead, Ciara. I know you have something to talk about there to kick us off.
So when it comes to Heel, my only concern is he's just coming off an injury, right? I'm not expecting him to go out there and give us 5, 6, 7 innings. It's just not realistic. The bullpen scares me, so I really don't know what to expect going in today. I just would hope the Yankees can figure out how to not get swept. That's the only thing I ask at this point. The lineup's out. It's pretty much the same. You got Grisham leading off, Rice second. The bottom of the lineup, you have Volpe and Wells. Listen, just win. That's all I'm asking for at this point. It's just a win. But as far as Luis Heel, I'm super happy he's back. I just don't expect too much as of today. Right.
Thank you for saying that because Miss manage your expectations over here is not in that zone today. So I'm glad that you said that for me. Shame on me. And hey to our friend Sunil who joins us. Nice to see you, Sunil. All right. So I'm going to talk about him again. Hey, Jazz Chisholm. Listen, like Ciara just mentioned, you don't have a crystal ball. If you do have a crystal ball, send it in for repairs because it's shattered like my dreams. And you need some humility. All right. We know you're a player and a player. We love you every other day except yesterday for the most part. But listen to this quote from him that, I mean, this is how you talk to the press and as a team guy. I feel like, quote, I feel like we're pressing a little bit, even low key, me. Even you? How about entirely you? Because who knows what the outcome could have been yesterday if it wasn't for your poor psychic abilities. Yeah, you know the feel from being a Marlin. You know how it plays. But you know what? You were the one that was played, Jazz. And you better shape yourself up because this is not going to play well with us much longer.
You know what's crazy is you would think that Jazz would come into Miami. This is his first time coming back to Miami after the trade. And all the articles I read, Jazz as a rookie did not have a good time in Miami. He had some issues with some of the veterans there because of his spunk and his personality. But he was the guy that was putting butts in the seats in Miami, right? So there was a lot of animosity going on. You would think coming back into Miami, he would just show out and be lights out, right? But it's the complete opposite. We really haven't seen anything out of him in this series. And it's crazy because on the flip side of that, you have Agustin Ramirez, the Marlins, who never even made it to the majors for the Yankees, but was a part of our organization. And he's killing us with home runs, stolen bases. Like, that's what I want to see from Jazz. Make this team regret not keeping you. And I know Jazz, he likes being with the Yankees more, but still, my point stands. Make the team regret not keeping you. Like, show them what they're missing. Instead, you're showing them that you're making boneheaded moves because you've been doing that all season. Like, look, I'm going to go to the defense real quick. The Yankees are tied for 8th most errors in baseball right now. And that's because Jazz and Volpe are in the top 5 of all of baseball. Volpe leads all of baseball, but Jazz is still up there in the top 5. So he's been making boneheaded moves all season. It's time for him to figure it out. Because if we do somehow scrape by to the playoffs, whether it's with a wild card or we somehow get back ahead of Boston and Toronto because Toronto's kind of on a losing streak right now, we need all of the players to be at 100%. We can't be making stupid moves, whether it's base running, the bullpen, defense. Like, everybody needs to be on. Because last year in the World Series, the Dodgers basically gave the entire MLB the game plan on how to beat the New York Yankees. They will beat themselves.
They already are, and beating us along with them, because this is really, for the tried and true Yankee fans, this has just been heart wrenching, for a long enough time now. I'm just over it, and so we need much more accountability and. Not just from Chisholm. I'm going to get off the Chisholm. I'm going to take him off the hot seat a little bit. I was glad to see Boone take Chisholm by the ear and drag him down the steps. And, when Meredith really pressed Boone after the game about, so what did you say to him? Oh, that's between us. And yet she asked Chisholm the same question. He's like, oh, he just told me that can't happen, whatever. 16 errors from our Gold Glove, ladies and gentlemen.
We got one error per home run.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk about how are these decisions going for us from our manager.
Well,
our new gets. Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of skipped ahead of that and was talking about that in the rear view because I just I don't understand why Caballero was playing right field Friday when you have Austin Slater sitting on the bench. I don't understand. Again, I don't understand why Bednar was even in the game when, if you just look at his numbers, he doesn't pitch well against Miami. For a team that rides the analytical wave, he didn't do a good job. And Jake Bird, I'm sorry. He had the furthest travel. You should have just not put him in. If you look at the bullpen budget, we haven't seen Devin Williams since Wednesday. So Devin Williams hasn't played since Wednesday. Luke Weaver has only thrown 12 pitches, which was yesterday. So I don't know. I just didn't like the decisions being made. It was silly.
There's enough silliness to go around. And, in a different era with a different manager, Chisholm would have been benched and should have been benched yesterday. John, look, you're absolutely correct. Part of the same point here. So per Sierra's point, Caballero is a shortstop. And if we're going to be using him as a low-key utility guy, maybe we bench Volpe for a little bit, except for the fact that Volpe, in terms of at the plate lately, is a whole other story, which brings us to who's hot, who's not, who's meh, who's bleh. Go ahead, Sierra.
We're going to start it off with Stanton. My guy is just seeing the ball well. He's getting on base. He's getting walked. He's hitting singles. He's hitting doubles. He's hitting home runs. I don't want to hear it from anybody. Giancarlo Stanton is not clogging up this lineup. And with Judge's butt on the bench right now because he's hurt, you need Stanton in this lineup.
Please. I mean, don't do anything about with Stanton other than keeping him right where he is and where he's needed. Totally hot, and Volpe confuses and dazes. But go ahead, Sierra.
Volpe is the most confusing player to me right now because offensively, coming out of the All-Star break, Volpe looks like freaking Barry Bonds, right? Like I don't even understand where this guy's power is coming from. On the field, he looks awful. He's still ranked in the 29th percentile defensively. However, in 14 games post All-Star break, he has 7 home runs, a 1.035 OPS, and for those of you who care about WRC+, he has a 178 WRC+. But his defense stinks. So I'm still going to give him a hot because every time he makes an error, he hits a home run and makes up for it. And also he just looks great offensively. The best thing the Yankees did for this kid was moving him to the bottom of the lineup. Keep him in the 8 hole. That is where he belongs. Do not move him back up. I don't care who's struggling, who's not. Do not move Volpe out of the 8 spot. He has found his stride. Leave him be.
That's right. And doing things that can then benefit the top of the order. I agree. He needs to stay where he is. Don't fix what ain't broken. There's so much broken. So worry about those things. Leave him where that guy is. And then who's your not?
Listen, I don't know what's wrong with Austin Wells. I really don't. He just looks lost. He can't call a game correctly. He can't hit the ball. He can't field. And look, we get a random home run from him every 2 weeks. That does not cut it. It does not cut it. I would rather see Ben Rice behind the plate every single night than see Austin Wells touch the field right now because I don't know what's wrong with him. Last year, we all wanted to give the guy a chance because he was a rookie. He was in the top 3 for Rookie of the Year. He didn't look great last year, but he doesn't look even remotely close to who he was last year. And Friday night, that error, why did you call off? And you shouldn't be calling off anybody if you can't catch a pop call. You just move. Get out of the way. I'm sorry. Do a better job.
And I lost count at how many times Michael Kay said yesterday, and Coney, they focus on fundamentals during spring training. We don't understand. Nobody understands. And how about a mid-season refresher course? Because you have an off day coming up this coming Thursday. How about a little bit of fundamental academy going on? Because clearly they are not retaining information and are in fact regressing. So this time, John, Michael Kay didn't blame the fans. He was entirely blaming the team because the fundamentals is persona non grata. So
I'm just sick of hearing about Wells and his framing and how great he is at framing because honestly, he hasn't even been that great at framing lately. And if they introduce the ABS, what is his framing going to do for us? Absolutely nothing. Like, can we get a better catcher? That's all I'm asking for at this point. Is you have 3 catchers on the roster. JC Escarra was just optioned down to AAA, but bring him back up and sit Wells down, or sit him down and let Rice play at catcher, because you want Rice's bat in the lineup anyway. So put him behind the plate more. He can't be worried. He's not worse than Wells.
Seriously, and I'm not going to say it. And yes, I'll take Walter Matthau. John, I put up the wrong thing, but yeah, bring Walter Matthau down from heaven to coach them the fundamentals. You're probably, if you don't get the reference, then it's because you weren't born yet. But I got it. I appreciate that. All right, so we have no meh because it's one thing or another. So no meh from Sierra, no meh for me. I
have a little bit of a meh. So good. I want to give Dominguez some props because his offense has been a little bit back and forth lately, but he has 18 stolen bases now. And it's been a while since we've seen speed on the bases for the Yankees. I wish they would let him and Volpe run a little bit more because we've seen what they can do. But also, he is someone who, in the beginning of the season, we were very concerned about his defense. And that's what most people have talked about. He's clearly doing the work to improve it. He made a fantastic catch the other day in left field.
He did.
People want to talk about how he almost fell on his back, but his cleat got stuck in the wall. And you know what? I think that comes with a little bit of an experience. But he's clearly working on it. Is he Cody Bellinger? Absolutely not. But I still want to give the kid some props because he's still only 22 years old. And if he can improve and continue to improve, he is definitely a part of this future.
Absolutely. And, you know, I'm such the downer today. I'm going to mention then, you know, he did miss the next big play out in left, but that was that you know, it would have been caught by other left fielders. There's no doubt, but there's also no doubt that now that he has the playing time he deserves, he is improving every time. So I have so much confidence in Dominguez, and so much confidence that when we go to the lineup for today, you have to wonder why they are not making him lead off at some point. Because yeah, well, if you saw the lineup, you know why. All right. So for me, I'm sorry, I can't even come up with a hot that Sierra hasn't mentioned. So I'm just gonna chicken my way out and just concur with Sierra because there's no denying. If there was a belly train, I would be like on that train and never get off. Because where would we be without Bellinger? You know, and Stanton, yes, as well. Volpe right now, yes. But Bellinger, in terms of consistency and in terms of clutch, he is by far the most clutch player we have offensively and has consistently been so all season. So I'm just going to double down on the Bellinger you know, so in particular, you already know my not. You already know who it is. If you don't know who my not is, you haven't been paying attention. So I'm not even going to mention his name, but it rhymes with pizzazz, which he hasn't had lately. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the injury report, Sierra.
So as of this morning, Luis Gil was activated off of the IL. However, Jonathan Loaizaga was put on the 15-day IL. Do we think that this is a phantom IL, or is he really hurt? Because he has looked horrible since coming back. He has not looked like the Johnny Lasagna that we've known in the past. And with the way that this season is going with injuries, specifically to pitchers, who freaking knows at this point, right? Like it could be either or. But yeah.
And somebody said the same thing in the chat way early up, so I can't even find it. But he just hasn't been the Johnny Lowe that we're used to. And now he said, you know what, guys, you're right. Let me just admit it. I'm broken. See ya.
Well, and his injury, I had to go back and read it because I didn't remember what it was. So it's retroactive to yesterday, but It's not just back tightness, it's right mid back tightness. Whatever the hell that means.
That's a new one. I mean, I know our medical staff is high caliber, but they've found a new injury to name something. That's just good for them.
And then we have Mark Leiter Jr. He had his first rehab outing yesterday. In the 6th inning, he threw a scoreless inning, so he's making his way back. Honestly, he's coming back a lot quicker than I thought he would. When you break something in your leg, I truly thought he'd be out for the season. So shout out to Mark Leiter Jr. for just being super tough.
Shout out for that much, Leiter Jr. I'm sorry, I haven't been a fan, but in fairness, maybe it's because his leg was slowly breaking all season, and finally just gave in. I'm open. I have no choice but to be open. Bring him back. All right, so that's it for the. As of now, as of today at 11:37, that's the injury report, ladies and gentlemen. Everything else is status quo from what we already know. All right, so let's talk about our guy in terms of our transactions for the week. So, as everybody knows, Marcus Stroman is gone. I, for one, and I have a feeling the lady sitting next to me agrees that Stroman was not given a fair shake in terms of how fans felt about him. Was he the pitcher we expect and need typically or almost always? Absolutely not. Did he hold himself accountable? Did he work his ass off? Did he go, the number of innings for the most part that we expected of him, albeit with the low expectations already had about him? Was he happy and proud to be a Yankee? All those things, I'm sorry, still matter to oldies like me. And to the other side of it, he didn't do himself any favors with the "I'm not a bullpen guy. I will not go to the bullpen." So that, I'm sure, also, in addition to the 4 arms that we acquired, had to have been part of the reason. Even if when he was told he was being let go, he said, no, wait, I changed my mind. I'll go to the pen. He still fell off the cliff. And so that did him no favors. But I do wish him well. I have zero hope that another team's going to pick him up. What do you feel about Stroman going, Ciara?
I'm going to put my personal feelings aside for Stroman because I'm a fan of Stroman for things that have nothing to do with baseball. With that being said, I understand the business decision, but it still makes me wish that the Yankees had acquired some starting pitching at the deadline or before the deadline, because in a season where we have struggled to keep healthy starters, being down one more, I just don't know if that helps or hurts. You know what I mean? Right. Again, business-wise, I understand moving on from Stroman. The way that the contract was constructed, the Yankees were never going to let him get to the innings anyway. But also, he just maybe Father Time is catching up to him a little early. He was nibbling the corners, throwing meatballs to guys like Bryce Harper. That just does not cut it. So, but again, my biggest opinion here is we don't have starting pitching. We needed starting pitching, and we just let one go.
Yeah.
I just hope it doesn't bite us in the ass.
Yep. And Raziel's saying that he would end up with the Orioles or something. Mm-hmm. You know what? I think
lights out against us because that's just how the cookie crumbles.
The Red Sox did nothing before the trade deadline. I could see them picking him up and him being like the savior of the Red Sox. That's how things go.
They got Dustin May, so they already have their Marcus Stroman.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Well, phew. So good. All right. So, and we got De Los Santos and Hamilton down to AAA because of the new Gets, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's it in terms of the transactions. So let's talk about how everybody feels about the trading. What's the report card on the Yankees for the trading?
I had initially gave Cashman a B- because the Yankees needed a new bullpen. Like, there's no argument there, right? So he did. He pulled off some bullpen needs. Bednar has been really good this season. Duvall also great. Jake Bird, you're coming from the Rockies. I got to see more because I can't say you're bad or good either way when you play for Colorado. You're not playing for anything. Like Ryan McMahon said it the best. He playing for the Yankees, he's exhausted now after every game because he actually has adrenaline because he feels like he's playing for something. In Colorado, they're so beat down. They just know they're not playing for anything. They're just there to play their schedule and go home. But with that being said, I'm going to be a little negative here for a minute. The Yankees did not acquire any starting pitching. Brian Cashman says that they tried, but I don't know if I believe him. It seemed like every other team was making moves to get relief pitchers. The Yankees finally stepped in to do the same thing. Did not address the starting pitching issue. And I'm going to go back to the offseason. And this is nothing against Ryan McMahon. The Yankees ignored their biggest need in the offseason by not acquiring a third baseman. Right? So because they didn't do that, they gave us a Band-Aid fix with Ryan McMahon. And then did they improve the bench? Yes and no. Do I think the options are better than Vivas and Peraza? Absolutely. I do still think it's weird that the Angels were buying at the deadline, but that's a whole other conversation. But so Peraza went to the Angels. Not going to miss him. Vivas went back to AAA. But I need to see some of Ahmed Rosario and Caballero and Austin Slater, because if you brought them here just to not utilize them, then I don't get the point. So.
And I'm excited to see all three of them. Just watching Caballero during the series when he was still a Ray, and while he was still a Devil Ray into like the 3/4 of our last game with them. I was like, oh wow, this kid knows how to play.
Did you see Taylor Wall's reaction to Caballero hugging him during that game? He was like,
"Oh so yeah, what is
happening,
dude? Why are you hugging me? What's going on? Get back! Get back!"
Did you imagine that? Like, you start over here, at the end of the game, you just have to walk over to the other dugout. He said in the post-game interview too, he was so funny. He's like, I mean, either way, I was winning today because whatever team won, he was on.
Yeah, but you know what? I really did not like the look of the manager there when those hugs were going on and he was saying those heartfelt goodbyes. And as he was approaching the manager fully turns his back on him.
Oh, Kevin Cash, yeah.
I'm sorry. Who knows what was going on? It's not like there was a tense situation going on at the field at that point. So I just thought that was dirty, but I don't know the story. But really, you want to talk about something historic? I don't know. I don't know if anyone listening right now or you, Sierra, could think of another time where literally in the middle of an inning, this is happening. And you're walking across to the other dugout. Unprecedented as far as I was concerned. So the timing of it, I just don't understand. And good for Caballero for taking it like a champ. But I really think it was kind of dirty to do it that way. I don't understand why it would have to be that way and not more clean. It really just wasn't a good look for me. So your grade was a B-, you said, Sierra?
Yeah. But if the bullpen doesn't get it together, I'm gonna drop it to a C because it is getting painful to watch.
Yeah, it already is painful. It's beyond painful. I want all of the IVs in my arm right now because I just can't take the pain anymore. Hey Sean, great to see you. Thanks for coming in. As far as I'm concerned, I think I'm gonna give Boone an A-. I almost as a joke made him my hero of the week. Because there was a move. There was a couple of moves. And I think that although we really could have used a starter, that the arms he got in that bullpen, I don't blame their horrible performance their first game, because what did they walk into? They're like, I dreamt all my life to put on these pinstripes. What is this team? There's no oomph. There's no chemistry. Everybody's blowing everything up. But I think they all come with enough street cred that they could really do us some good. And as far as Jake Bird goes, he other than the timing of putting him in, which nobody can answer the reasoning behind that, because there is no reason behind putting him in when he first, like literally came off the runway at JFK or whatever, no, Tampa Airport or whatever. All of a sudden he's pitching. So I think Jake Bird has had a good record this season so far. And so I think we're going to see good things for him. And I'm really excited about the offense gets too, because I think Slater could really be a good utility guy if we get to see him. He's not in the lineup today, so I don't know when we will see him. But
I don't know when they first. So I want to see him just because if we're looking at defense reasons, right? Like it would have made more sense Friday to use him versus Caballero. But I will say, when I first saw that the Yankees traded for him and there was other options available, I was like, all right, we're broke. Yankees have no money because what are they even doing? There's better options out there. Just kind of hoping that he proves me wrong. It was a great trade for the White Sox to get some prospects, but I don't really know if Slater helps the Yankees or if he's just going to be a ghost on the bench.
Exactly. So I hope we get to know which it is. And so, Raziel, I'm sure that's what McMahon's saying, but he's going to be let go if we don't see something at the plate. So again, got one side of things nailed down. I think it was he's a platinum glove winner, not even a gold.
His offense has been okay. I think McMahon has done more than I expected. I want to keep it. I want to see it continue. Of course, he gave us that walk-off the other day. He's been better than I expected in his first 2 weeks with us. I don't even know how long it's been at this point. I feel like I'm in a fever dream when I watch the Yankees. But I still believe that the Yankees ignored third base in the offseason, and that's a big issue.
Yeah, and Sean, I wouldn't say he's been clutch. He was clutch once or twice. Like, he's not belly clutch by any stretch. I know that's an unfair comparison. However, he needs a little bit more equilateral performance here. And I'm really in my down mode. I warned you guys at the top of the show. I want him to succeed. I need him to succeed. I want him on that wall. I need him on that wall. Raziel, I know he was brought on for his defense, but that's the whole point. Like, where are these both-sided players anymore?
Alex Bregman, he's now in Boston.
Oh, good. Excellent. And I mean, to be fair, I am being over dramatic. Go figure. So not like me. We have Belly. We have Goldie-ish. Although Goldie might need a break himself. If Rice is not going to be put behind the plate, let's put Rice a little bit more on first and give Goldie a break. And so we got DJ coming back healthy. Where? Yeah. So you nailed it, Sierra, as always. All right. So let's go down to our next thing, and then we're going to start ramping up to the start of the game and what's coming up next. So talk about the prospects for a minute. Sierra, tell us about Dylan Jasso. Jasso?
I wanted to give some love to Dylan Jasso, number 24 prospect.
Neither. Okay.
In the last 16 games, he has 9 RBI. So I thought that was pretty special. He's currently 5th in their division for RBI. And we're always talking about Spencer Jones and George Lombard Jr. because those are our top guys and they're incredible. But Dylan Jasso deserves a little bit of love.
Okay, well, maybe maybe we'll see him at this point. All right, so let's talk about what's next. So I have a question. What are we going to expect from Judge when he comes back? What's life going to look like when he's back?
Life is going to look like Stanton being put on the bench, and that's really going to hurt my heart because you can't put Stanton in the field. I understand Stanton will do it, but it's not what's best for him or this team to put him in the field because it'll risk injury. With that being said, it still sucks because he's going to have to sit for Judge to DH, and we're losing Stanton's bat at that point. And then who knows from there? They say he'll play the field again this season, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, although, is anyone else feeling like Judge might be a little bit behind schedule?
I don't know. I don't ever trust the Yankees medical staff, so
I don't understand you sometimes, Sierra. It's probably just me. There's no rose tint in my glasses today. Let's just say that. All right.
Jordan,
so
keep your comments to yourself. Don't start with me.
who are you saying that to?
Jordan, he says, see, Stanton does clog up the lineup, but he's being sarcastic.
You know who Jordan is to you, Sierra? He's like Volpe when there's an argument going on the field and a call is being looked at, and Volpe's there biting, and I'm like, that's Jordan's trying to get your goat. All right, so let's take a look. Oh, good. So we head into Texas this week. First with the Rangers for 3, and then next time we see you, it'll be game 3 ahead of us with the Astros. What's your prediction, Sierra?
The Astros, who just brought back Carlos Correa for their Cheaters reunion.
Oh,
yeah. You know what's hilarious? So they just played Boston, right? And so obviously Correa and Altuve are on the same team now. Boston has Bregman, and they have Cora as their manager. The fans in Boston were cheering for the return of Carlos Correa to Houston because, like, make that make sense to me. They hate the Yankees that much that they were so excited to see Correa go back to Houston. So I'm not excited to see them. We'll see what happens.
Well, so if they brought Carrera back, it gives me 2017 vibes. And so maybe we can reverse the curse. Maybe we'll have an opportunity. So there's that. See, I have a positive spin on something for today. That's my one and done. Yes, it's the Cheaters reunion tour. Jordan, I love the garbage can emoticons. Yep. Pepperidge Farm remembers 2017 feels like such a long time ago, but not as long ago as 2009, everybody. So this is going to be pouty face from Sierra. So this is going to be an interesting time in Texas, and then back in our house for the Astro series. And I don't even know what to say or how to predict about that. And you got your pitching probables were announced, or just common logic would tell you. Monday's going to be Fried against Corbin, Warren on Tuesday against Eovaldi, and Wednesday Rodon versus Jack Leiter. So to me that means either Heel then that Mikey means Heel then Schlittler for the other 2 games. So unless something else no, I'm not gonna finish that sentence because then everyone will hate me more.
I'm not good for you.
So at least we see the pitching lineup for set for when we're with the Rangers. So let's go to the trivia question of the week as we wrap up, everybody. So due to several pitching arms acquired this week, Stroman was released by the Yankees. Stroman wore number, is it even a number? 0, the only single-digit number available. Only one other Yankee player wore that number, and we had a few correct answers. And if I'm missing any of you, but I know Karen got it right. I think FJ got it right. There were a couple of others. Shout yourself out, pat yourself on the back in the chat, Because here is the answer, everybody. Adam Ottavino. Adam Ottavino. Ottavino is like such a musical last name. Look, I had to sing it. Adam Ottavino. It would be like a great jingle somewhere if he was like any kind of superstar. But there you have it, everybody. So listen, chat. Thank you for getting through all of this with temper tantrums from me and petulance and criticisms and whining and crying and stamping of feet. You couldn't see it, but it was happening. And Ciara always bringing the fire. My co-host, my ride or die. She rides while I die. And as always, follow us, love us, subscribe us, check out the guys Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Please come back next week. We need you so much. And you know what? I'm going to say one positive thing today. Let's go Yankees. Please.